Good evening. I'm Anthony Brown, Maryland's Lieutenant Governor. I'm sorry I couldn't be with you all tonight, but I wanted to take an opportunity to say how extremely grateful I am for being recognized by Adoptions Together with the 2014 Adoption Advocate of the Year Award. As some of you may know, adoption is something that is extremely personal for me. I became an adoptive parent 14 years ago when we brought our son Jonathan into our family. As we considered expanding our family through adoption, I thought what a wonderful thing we were doing for this child. But upon bringing Jonathan home, we quickly learned the truth, that we were the recipients of a gift that continues to change and enrich our life every single day in ways we couldn't possibly imagine. Governor O'Malley and I share the belief that our children are our future. And we know the most important factor in a child's life is a stable, loving home in which he or she can laugh, learn, and thrive. That's why when we entered office, we made it a priority to increase significantly Maryland's focus on finding permanent families for foster children, because nothing matters more to a child than a place to call home. In 2007, we implemented our Place Matters initiative, a proactive strategy designed to promote family strengthening, permanency, and more in-home services in order to keep children at home when it's safe to do so. This dynamic shift in policy has led to some pretty big results in our state. We've reduced the number of children in foster care by 43%, and we've seen a 38% reduction in the number of children in group homes. And since 2007, we've helped more than 17,400 children find permanent homes through adoption, guardianship, or reunification with their families. Although these numbers are encouraging, our work is far from complete. We won't rest until we're able to find a permanent home for every child in need. As a state, we're at our best when we support one another and use the tools of government to ensure we're not leaving people behind. That includes making sure that every child in Maryland has a stable, loving home. So tonight, it's my honor to accept this award, and I do so on behalf of the entire O'Malley Brown administration, Secretary Dallas, and the Department of Human Resources, and our other faithful servants in government who continue to work diligently alongside us towards this goal. Thank you to Adoptions Together and all of their community partners for sponsoring this important event and for everything you do for children across this state. I also want to thank you for all that you do to advocate for our children's right to a permanent, loving family environment. Most importantly, I want to thank all of our guardianship, adoptive, post-adoptive, and kinship care families in Maryland who give of themselves every day to better the lives of our children who are in need. So again, thank you for this honor, and thank you for what you do for the children of Maryland.
My name is Dimitri Moshovitis. I'm the chef and co-founder of Kava Meze Group. I grew up in a Greek home. Food was an integral part of our family. I started cooking with my mom at a very young age, and from then it grew into something more. It grew into a career. I decided to go to culinary school and wanted to pursue cooking when I was 16 years old. I wanted to make people happy with what I loved. How can you cook something that's not part of your being, you know, like something that you grew up with? Food is passion on many different levels, you know. For me, it's like, how much more passionate can I be than putting a tomato on a plate, but getting the best tomato possible, getting the best salt possible, getting the best olive oil possible, the best cheese possible. That's cooking. Tedek and I opened up Kava Meze in 2006 with our first store in Rockville. So in 2006, I was approached by Judy Sebring and Margaret Devine and said, hey, you know, we're doing this event, it's called Taste of Potomac. Would you like to be involved? And I said, sure, you know, what's the basis behind it? She goes, well, we're raising money for Adoptions Together. And it was a great event. It was about 100 to 150 people. We were one of the only food guys there. Everybody else would just donate whatever they could. Now we've grown to more than 500 people at these events. Getting involved with Adoptions Together started out as just doing an event. As I met the people involved and I start seeing for myself how important this event was and how we touch lives by doing something as small as going to an event and cooking. So I have two children, Christo, 7 years old, and Melina, 5 years old. They're both beautiful, happy little kids. Just being with them fulfills everything that I had missing in my life. Being a parent for me is the most important job in the world. It's the most fulfilling job in the world. What you get from being a parent, nothing else in the world can give you. I think everybody should be involved in any kind of organization. For us, Adoptions Together, we help so many children, we help so many parents. And it's not just finding the homes, it's afterwards as well. Being in foster care and being from an orphanage, growing up, it could be very confusing to a child. Well, Adoptions Together has the people and they have the crew to go out there and help this child, as well as the parents, because it could be very hard for the parents as well getting acclimated to this new life. So as a business owner in this community, I have a responsibility to help as much as I can. But by also doing that, I help show my children. I show my children exactly what it is and how they can grow. And watching me help and watching my business help, maybe they'll become involved. And this way we breed a society of people just helping and becoming involved in these very important organizations.
My name's Jane Phillips. I'm a mom, 3 boys, and a husband. Mike and I have been part of Adoptions Together since Jeffrey was born, our oldest, who's 23. My husband and I wanted to have a family, and we found out that we weren't able to have a family the typical way, so we started looking at adoption. I ended up going into the office to talk to Janice on the day that she became an adoption agency. And that was about in October, November timeframe. So she called us in December and she said, "We have a birth mother and can we give them your name?" So we're one of the earliest people, we probably in the first 10 that were adopted through Adoptions Together. A little bit about the kids. Jeffrey's our oldest. He's now 23 and he's out of college, whereas brother Peter, who's 2 years younger, is our sports guy. John, our youngest, he's going to be a junior at Wooten next year. A little about John, when John came into our lives. Part of the story starts with my mom feeling that 2 children is just enough for us. So we're on our planned trip. I walk into King's Dominion. So I had done the first database for Adoptions Together. I got this page from Janice and I thought, the database has gone down. And I go to the payphone and I said to Janice, "Okay, what's happened now?" So Janice said, "Peter's birth mother's had a baby and she wants to know if you would like to have him." When Jeffrey right before he turned 1, my dad had passed away. And I laughed, I said, "I think my dad arranged this." And he knew that the only way that I could get my mom on board was that John was born on my mom's birthday. So that's why my dad was John, and that's why John is named John. We had visits that we would go to Adoptions Together. And after the first year, there was a bigger and bigger need to do something about the children that were coming in to be placed that were very hard to place. And we all sat around trying to figure out, how do you raise money? So we started having garage sales, literally, to raise money for these children because we didn't know another way to do it. And from that, we started doing other events, and they grew and grew and grew. And it kind of grew into the Taste of Potomac, which is this part of it, where it had started very small and has now grown large. You keep putting into your heart what it really means, that you're giving these children a chance. And we feel so proud that Adoptions Together has never given a child back to the state. There's money to keep them in foster care while they find a home. And that's what motivates you. Some of the children that come in have continuing special needs, and some of them are just the ability to cope, with life, or the ability that they're adopted. And sometimes that affects the child, and sometimes that doesn't affect the child. So Adoptions Together is there with the social workers and the trained professionals to meet with them, have classes, give advice, be a phone that they can call so that they just don't feel abandoned. When Mike and I tried to start a family, you realize pretty quickly that you're not in control of your life. It's a hard thing to come to grips with because what you want isn't necessarily happening. And you look around you and it's happening everywhere. And then you find where you're supposed to be. And that's how I feel like we are. This is what we were supposed to do. We were supposed to go this route. We were supposed to get these children. You can look back now, we didn't know that because we hadn't gone through it yet. So as an adopted parent, we got our family. We got everything. It filled our dreams and wishes and hopes. And it's just so mutually beneficial that there's a need and there's a want, and they come together and it creates a family.